Sons and Lovers by D. H. Lawrence as an Oedipal drama. Marks, 10-12. Answer. Sons and Lovers by D. H. Lawrence is a Bildungsroman thematically linked to the Freudian idea of Oedipus complex. In psychoanalytic theory, Oedipus complex is a complex of emotions whereby a boy develops an unconscious sexual desire for his mother and secretly wishes to eliminate his father. Freud signifies it as a crucial state of mind that affects the normal development progress of a growing child. However, Lawrence problematizes this complex in various ways to create a dramatic effect. The first part of the novel builds up the Oedipus drama in which Mr. Morel and his wife wage a battle for the psychological control over their children. Mr. Morel's brutality against his wife, especially when he comes home drunk, makes her feel buried alive in her conjugal life. Mrs. Morel transforms all her love and hopes onto her sons. Here is the first problematization in Oedipus complex presented by Lawrence. The relationship here is reciprocal where the mother too deeply loves her sons. One of the classical facets of love is jealousy, and the Oedipal relationships are not bereft of it. Mrs. Morel goes into paroxysms of jealousy when William, her first son, receives love letters from young girls, and burns them before he leaves to take up a job in London. Mrs. Morel is further disappointed and William courts a girl in London. William brings her to his family, and his mother takes an immediate disliking for the girl. This is possibly due to the reason that she sees the girl's beauty as a competition for her own. After the premature death of William, Oedipus complex takes a new turn. It is the second child, Paul, with whom Mrs. Morel becomes spiritually one, each being the supreme love object for each other. Lawrence writes several scenes between the two that go beyond the bonds of a conventional mother-son love. Completing the Oedipus equation, Paul murderously hates his father and often fantasizes about his death. It turns out that the presence of his mother figure is all prevalent, and thus it becomes difficult for him to forge any meaningful relationship with any woman. Paul's first attempt is with Miriam, but Mrs. Morel forces him to cloak his relationship with Miriam as that of friends. Paul feels torn between Miriam and his mother, and resents Miriam because she makes his mother suffer. When he tries to confess his love for Miriam to his mother, she hugs him, cries, and expresses her animosity toward Miriam, who she believes will take Paul from her. Interaction with Paul is full of intimate physical contact. She even says, "I have never had a husband, not really." Paul now takes on Clara Dawes, a middle-aged married woman who has been separated from her husband for years. Mrs. Morel gets on well with Clara due to the reason that she does not see a rival in her like she did in Miriam. However, Paul gets into a brawl with Clara's husband and the former beats the latter. This is considered to be his repressed energy of eliminating his father coming onto its surface. Later, he makes a truce with Ailing Baxter, and it can be interpreted as his guilt operating for killing his father figure. This relationship with Clara also ends as she cannot promise marriage to Paul, and hence he has to leave her too. Paul confesses to his mother that he will never meet the right woman while she is alive. This is prophetic. Not only does Paul never forge any relationship, his future also remains bleak. At the end of the novel, Paul takes a major step in releasing himself from his Oedipus complex. He intentionally overdoses his dying mother with morphia, an act that reduces her suffering but also subverts his Oedipus fate, since he does not kill his father, but his mother. Paul visits Mrs. Morel's body again at night, and his near-necrophiliac kissing and stroking reveal his pent-up desires. Finished. Please subscribe to the channel for more updates of ready-made notes on English literature.